Create $1 million nest egg whether you live or die. In this episode, I'm going to address the question, what is better than an IRA? Now, I've got to be honest with you. I've never owned a Roth IRA or 401k. I never will. Listen to why I will never own those and what is far better. So my name's Doug Andrew. I've been a financial strategist and retirement planning specialist for more than 45 years. But back in 2005, in order to become an advocate for the general public, I let all my professional licenses automatically expire at the end of that year. I had 3 best-selling books up until that point, and the next book actually became a New York Times Wall Street Journal #1 bestseller in 2007. I've continued to release a book every year or two, and so my 11th book, it's called The Laser Fund, and it's an acronym that stands for Liquid Assets Safely Earning Returns. Now, at the end of this episode, I'll show you how you can get a free copy of this book, but the Laser Fund will knock the socks off of any IRA or 401k you can show me. And I've seen thousands of them in my 4.5 decades of being a financial strategist and retirement planning specialist. So let me share with you why this is so dynamic and why it has the 2 benefits of a Roth, but 4 additional benefits that Roths will never have. So first of all, let me just give you briefly what the Laser Fund does, and then I'll share with you what it is. The Laser Fund is the only investment vehicle, financial instrument in the Internal Revenue Code for over a century that has been a sacred cow that allows you to accumulate your money totally tax-free. And then when you access your money, it's totally tax-free, including all the gain. And when you ultimately die, it blossoms, it increases in value and transfers totally income tax-free. On that last point, I'm 68. If I died in an accident tomorrow, every million I would have in my Laser funds would blossom to $2.5 million instantly and transfer tax-free to my heirs. There's not a Roth around that will do that. And people say, well, how much does that cost? Well, nothing's free, but it doesn't cost me anything. It's being paid for with a minuscule portion of money that would otherwise go out the window in unnecessary tax if I had an IRA or 401k. So listen to the pitfalls, the drawbacks, the dangers of why most people outlive their money in retirement if they follow the herd and put their money in traditional IRAs or 401ks. They used to be a good way to go, but they're a poor way to go. A Roth is better, but the Laser Fund is way better than a Roth. So why would I own a Roth when I can have those 2 benefits that I'm going to share with you and 4 additional benefits? Let me outline what they are. So let me briefly explain what it does. Every $1 million that you accumulate in a Laser Fund, historically, this has happened. This isn't projecting into the future unrealistically. I've had thousands of clients. Every $1 million that they accumulate in a Laser Fund can generate $60,000 to $80,000. Many have taken $100,000 a year of tax-free income for life without depleting principal. Most IRAs or 401ks do not do that. Most people in America have IRAs and 401ks in the market. 91% of Americans have money in IRAs or 401ks. Only 9% are smart enough to use the Roth. Roths were started in 1997. Let me just use a metaphor here. If you were a farmer and you had the choice of buying your seed in the springtime when you're going to plant your crops, and you don't have to pay tax on the price of the seed. And so you do that, and you plant, you cultivate, you work hard, and in the fall of life, you harvest, okay? This is retirement. You're going to harvest what you've saved in your IRAs or 401ks, and now you agree to pay tax on what you sell your harvest for, your investments. That's a traditional IRA or 401k. And the premise was, oh, you're going to be in a lower bracket when you retire. That has not been true for over 25 years. If you have any type of a respectable retirement nest egg, you will not be in a lower bracket because you've killed all your deductions along the way and Congress keeps raising taxes. So that's why Roths are better. You pay tax on the seed money, the contribution money, and during the harvest of life, you have it tax-free. So a Roth is a step in the right direction, but I've told you, I don't own a Roth. A Roth, you put in after-tax money, you pay tax on the seed money, it accumulates tax-free, and you can take it out tax-free. That's it. The Laser Fund has had those benefits for over a century protected in the Internal Revenue Code. So what is the Laser Fund? The Laser Fund is actually a brainchild of E.F. Hutton. Now, if you're not old enough to know who that was a big brokerage firm in America. They weren't an insurance company, but they said, golly, why don't we take the tax advantages of money that grows inside of an insurance policy, and also when people ultimately die, it transfers tax-free, and let's do the opposite. Let's take the least amount of insurance the IRS will let us get away with and put in the most premiums that the IRS allows as fast as they allow, and this turns into a tax-free cash cow. So basically, if I sock away $1,000 a month, $10,000, $100,000, we have people putting in $100,000 a year, $1 million a year, it grows tax-free. I have actually earned rates of return averaging between 6 to 10% for the last 40 years. The last 25 years, I've actually averaged over 10%. But my heavens, if I earn 10%, my money doubles every 7.2 years. At 7.2%, which is the worst rate of return I've achieved in the worst decade since the Great Depression, 2000 to 2010, when most Americans didn't make any money because the market dropped 40% twice. Our clients doubled to tripled their money during that 10-year period using max-funded indexed universal life insurance contracts. But you have to structure it correctly. And so I have clients who have put in $500,000 and it doubled every 7 to 10 years to $1 million. $1 million doubled to $2 million, $2 million doubled to $4 million, and they have it doubled again to $8 million. We have people who have $8 million tax-free that can generate between $600,000 to $800,000 a year of tax-free income. So what are the 4 additional benefits of a Laser Fund over a Roth? So what I call the Laser Fund, because it has a tremendous liquidity, safety, predictable rates of return, and it's tax-free. That spells the acronym LASER, Liquid Assets Safely Earning Returns. I can put in huge lump sums, $300,000 if I want. You can't do that in a Roth. In fact, a lot of CPAs and tax attorneys call the Laser Fund the rich man's Roth. And I snicker because you don't have to be rich to have one, but the rich can't own a Roth. They make too much money. I don't have to put in $300,000. I could put in $30,000, but that means I had $270,000 of room that I didn't use. I can make up for that anytime. With a Roth, if you don't use the room in a given tax year, you're done. If you don't use it, you lose it. But if I put in $300,000 into my Laser Fund and 30 days later I need $250,000 back for an investment or something, I can access it. There's no IRS penalty. I can access the money. I can use indexing, which means when the market goes up, I make money, but when the market goes down, I do not lose because my money is not at risk in the market. Indexing is only available with this product the way that we teach it. And the last benefit is when I ultimately die, every million at my current age would blossom to about $2.5 million and transfer income tax-free. And there's not a Roth around that will do that. So I'm going to show you how you can learn about this if what I've said intrigues you. Thank you for watching this, but if you want to learn more, let me show you how you can get a free copy of my most recent best-selling book. So as I mentioned, I've written several books. This is in its 6th printing. It's flying off the shelves, and I want to gift you a free copy. If you go to laserfund.com, L-A-S-E-R fund.com, and you contribute a nominal amount towards the shipping and handling. I'll cover the rest of that, and then I will buy the book, send it out to you. And there's also options there for the audio and video and so forth if you like to listen and learn or watch and learn. This is actually 2 books in one. This one's 200 pages, all kinds of charts, graphs, and explanations, 14 chapters. If you learn more by stories, right brain, you flip it over. And you read this one, 12 chapters, 62 actual client stories. And so this will empower you to understand things that maybe you didn't think about before, but I'll end with this. My kids all have laser funds, not only on themselves, but they have them on me. Do the math. If they pay $750 or $1,000 a month into a laser fund on me, and I live a long time, they have a tax-free cash cow for their retirement. But when I ultimately die, it blossoms to $1 million instantly tax-free. It knocks the socks off of them putting money in an IRA or 401k or a Roth. So why would you own a Roth when you can have the 2 benefits of a Roth and 4 additional benefits that Roths will never have?